A lot going on you guys need to know about. Right now we got a rapid burning wildfire that's scorching more than 45,000 acres in California right now. Another topic floating around there, plant-based protein powders, which you guys thought were probably should have been pretty safe, found to contain lead, arsenic, cadmium, and mercury. What? And get this, Italy has just banned solar panels on farmland. I think they're picking up on some things. A lot of stuff that you guys need to know coming right up. My name is Cohen here at Riverside Homestead, and if you're brand new here, welcome. If you guys are into prepping tips, emergency preparedness, and most of all, news and awareness, stuff that you want to know about, be sure to hit that notification bell so you guys can stay up to date. Let's jump into this one. Okay guys, a lot of crazy things happening right now. I got a couple hand-picked things that I want to go over with you guys today, starting with the fire. I warned you guys of the fires that were going to explode based off of the conditions that a lot of the US is experiencing right now. Before we get to some of that other good stuff, let me give you an update on this one.
Right, we want to get back to our breaking story in Fire Watch this morning. The massive park fire raging just outside of Chico. A lot of people just really on the run this morning. In fact, the numbers exploded overnight. We're talking about
Fire joins us now from Butte, California. Rick, how are things looking right now?
Like I told you guys, and Canada's blowing up. We're gonna deal with smoke issues here before long.
We just heard that the fire's continuing to grow. Just on a side note, this fire now has burned more acres than the campfire that so many people in Butte County remember so much from almost 6 years ago now that did so much damage in the town of Paradise. So yeah, firefighters are, it's been a long first couple days of this fire, and there's a lot more to come. This fire is not really showing any sign of wanting to sit down and lay down and be done. It's still growing, and it's still giving us trouble. It's burning in areas that haven't burned in for so long, and so there's plenty of fuel. We've had 105 to 115 degree temperatures pretty much every day for the last 3 weeks. And so the grasses, the brush, the fuels are so incredibly dry that there's just nothing to keep a spark from turning into a fire. So pretty much every ember that goes up in the air is able to start a new spot fire. And so between trying to get containment as well as trying to protect structures, so we have to pull engines off of and crews off of actually fighting to contain the fire.
Is Chico, guys. Chico, California. This is coming from CBS News Bay Area. Wildfires in California. Chico. I think I knew of a dog named Chico one time. And this as of breaking news for July 25th. Russian and Chinese bombers intercepted off of Alaska. This one right here is buzzing right now. Let's see what ABC News has to say.
We are following a developing story this morning. For the first time ever, 2 Chinese military planes have been intercepted in international waters near Alaska. That's according to the North American Aerospace Defense Command. The Chinese were accompanied by 2 Russian long-range bombers yesterday. U.S. and Canadian fighter jets were sent up in response, but things ended without incident. ABC senior Pentagon reporter Louis Martinez has the details. Louis, Russian military activity has been common in this region, but having Chinese planes there is unusual. So what
time that Chinese aircraft have accompanied Russian bombers in these flights off the coast of Alaska. Now, we're talking about several hundred miles off the coast of Alaska, but still, it's enough to trigger an intercept by U.S. and Canadian fighter aircraft to try to get visual confirmation of who they are when they enter this area. But it's really uncommon and kind of shows the growing bonds between both China and Russia militarily. This is something that developed after that we've seen increasing with more frequency after Russia's invasion of Ukraine 2 years ago. But this is, again, the most visible scene that we've seen so far of this growing military cooperation between both countries.
So, Louis, what do we know so far about what these planes were doing there?
Well, it's obvious that they shed a message that both Russia and China's militaries can work together. We've seen exercises off the coast of Alaska over the last year. There was a very large one about a...
Tell me what you guys think is going on with Russia and Chinese aircrafts being intercepted like that. Like, what is going on? This is just at the same time as Biden's address. I'm hearing rumors that this next 6 months is a very vulnerable time for the United States where opposition may take the opportunity to make a move. So what are they saying that these planes are doing there?
Well, it's obvious that they're trying to send a message. They're trying to send a message that both Russia and China's militaries can work together. We've seen exercises off the coast of Alaska over the last year. There was a very large one about a year ago where there was essentially a flotilla of about 10 ships, Russian and Chinese Navy ships, that got close to Alaska, but the United States was tracking them all the way through, very much how the United States and Canada were tracking these aircraft from the moment they took off. Probably from Russia, eastern Russia. So this is intended to send a message that they have capabilities, but again, not as much capability as the United States does militarily in order to carry out these kinds of missions. Because in order to carry out these kinds of missions, Dan, Russia has to fly these planes to the eastern part of the country because they're not normally stationed there.
Guys, those are not the only ones. Like, we're getting reports right here. A record number of 27 planes are now at the Olania Air Base tracking. Which boards are on the base? 14 Tu-95MS boards and 13 Tu-22M3 sides. By the way, the 14X Tu-95MS at this airbase is recorded number for the Olania. Usually there's only 10 to 12. Things are definitely picking up in that department. So that was an X post. I mean, the Russians are moving a record number of bombers. 27 planes are now on the Olania Air Base is what is being reported on X by certain platforms. Are things picking up in that department? Time will tell. Another thing that's buzzing right now is the topic on protein powder. Check this out. Plant-based protein powders found to contain lead, arsenic, cadmium, and mercury. Contain lead, arsenic, cadmium, and mercury? Are you serious? These are the posts that I'm reading. You're gonna have to do your own research on this stuff because otherwise I'm gonna get in trouble for claims, right? Check this out from 41 Action News.
Popular protein powders to the gym, where we asked Leslie and her clients to look at the labels and tell us which of them seemed the best and the worst.
You're looking at calories, protein, and carbs. And you're not necessarily looking at all the ingredients.
CleanLabelProject.org is a watchdog for consumers. In the past, they've tested baby food, baby formula, and pet food. So this time they bought 137 of Amazon's top-selling protein powders and sent them off to a lab. What they found was alarming: various toxins in your supplements.
Things like heavy metals, lead, arsenic, cadmium, and mercury, antibiotic residues, pesticide residues.
Vega chocolate protein and greens was one of the most popular, but it ranks among the worst for arsenic, lead, cadmium, and mercury. The study showed some of the dirtiest results were organic.
What we found is that plant-based protein powders had higher levels of arsenic as well as cadmium, which we think comes potentially from contaminated soil.
We've seen studies show many of these fillers and metabolic compounds have contributed to certain types of cancers.
Look, guys, I have to take the time to let you know, top of the description, pinned comment, if you're looking for a good protein powder, American-made non-toxic one, check that out. Let's keep going.
Really no safe way to validate what is in the nutritional supplements.
This is Biochem Vanilla Whey, and it was one of the healthiest. Testing showed no detectable levels of arsenic, BPA, lead, or mercury. And it was also one of the cleanest forms of cadmium.
When we look at the 5 cleanest products, all of them happen to be whey-based and vanilla-based.
All of the women were shocked with the results and are now second-guessing using protein powders.
My recommendation would be go natural. So use the eggs, use the dairy, use the meats.
So a spokeswoman from Vega told us they have not seen the raw data from the cleanlabel.org testing, but she said, quote, "We, however, want to reassure our consumers that we test every single lot of our Vega protein to ensure our products are safe, compliant, and nutrient dense and meet our high quality standards."
I mean, this happened to us. You went into our pantry and you said, wait a minute here, this made kind of the bad list. How do you know what's in the protein powder?
So one of ours in our pantry did actually make the list of the worst ones, so I told you to stop drinking it.
Right.
So for those of you wondering if yours is on the list, we put that link to the report that ranks 137 of the most popular. It's on our website.
Look, guys, you gotta be careful. Like, there's so many layers of research you gotta do these days. Is 1, the ingredients. 2, who is funding and operating the websites that are doing all the analytics. Like, that's very important too, because they usually push something. The other thing is the owner of the company. Like, what do they represent? Are they part of the huge monopoly and umbrella out there? And then on top of that, who are you going to support? Amazon? Look, I know there's a lot of things we got to get on Amazon because you can't get them other places, but when you do have an option, vote with your dollars and support people that have your values in mind. And oftentimes, there's other solutions other than Amazon. And while we're on that same topic, let me just talk to you about a really quick revised class action that says all Simply Orange Juice products contain PFAS. Check this out. Now, I used to think that this was one of the better ones. Like, seriously, this is something that I used to get back in the day because I was thinking it kind of looked real and I loved all the pulp, but I have continued to research and things have changed since then. The category is Coca-Cola class action lawsuit and settlement news. Did you guys know that? Simply Orange is Coca-Cola. I'm telling you, when you go to the store, it's an illusion of choice, because you follow the pyramid all the way up to the same organizations. So anyway, the WHO, as a New York man, has filed a revised class action lawsuit against Coca-Cola and the subsidiary Simply Orange Juice Company. Why? The plaintiff says that the company sells juice that contains PFAS, otherwise known as forever chemicals. The where on this, the Simply Orange PFAS class action lawsuit was filed in New York federal court. A little bit more information on that. Lorenz claims that Simply juices contain a significant level of per and polyfluoroalkyl, it's a difficult word to say, PFAS compounds based on independent studies and testing. Folks, that's forever chemicals. You need to stay away from that stuff. Check this out. Scientists are studying and extremely concerned about how PFAS affect human health. He says, consequently, the Centers of Disease Control outlined a host of health and effects associated with PFAS exposure, including cancer, liver damage, decreased fertility, and increased risk of asthma and thyroid disease. So you might want to stay up on that one. Anyway, I'm out of time for today, guys. I got a lot more coming down the pipe. Be sure the notification bell's still turned on. I got in trouble for giving you guys some really good information the other day, so they're putting the threshold on me a little bit. So please share, like, comment, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Keep prepping, keep learning, keep doing.